Hello everyone, today we're going to see how we can make mechanisms animate or at least move in sync with each other on Onshape. Now I've pulled these parts from the IQ parts file. We'll be working with those in the future. We want to see how we can make all of these parts work together as one singular element. Now the first thing I want to do is be careful with my constraints. I have to make sure my constraints match what I eventually want my parts to do. Now I do want to be able to insert these into this part here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the cylindrical mate. And the cylindrical mate will allow me to take the edge of this part and match it into the hole. So take the hole in the edge and I will insert it. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And it's not as important that the axles move. See, it's how what I'm really concerned with is how well everything will move with them. So I'm going to go ahead and move these through because I've only limited 2 degrees of freedom instead of all 3. So I can go ahead and push those through. And the next thing I want to do is attach these pulleys. In order to do that, I need to choose carefully what mate I want to use. So I don't want to use a fastener because that will glue them here, and the system doesn't want them glued. It wants them to be able to revolve. So I'm going to choose a revolute mate. So I'll choose revolute. I want to choose the outer edge here, so I do have a circle. And I'll choose the circle here, and that'll attach those together. I'll do the same thing here. I want to make sure that I get that outer circle on my sprocket. We need to zoom out and zoom in a few times to make sure I have the right angles. And I need to make sure I do have a circle when I do this. If I don't have a circle, it will not work. So I didn't select that for me. Let's try again. There we are. I'll go ahead and check those off, and I want to close out. Now I want to see if they move. And while I can spin them, I do say I have this moving in and out, which I don't want to do. So I need to use another constraint. I want to use the planar constraint. And I want 2 surfaces to touch, but not necessarily stay together. So I'm going to select the beam back here. I'll zoom in and make sure that we do have the right surface. There we go, the full face. And I'll spin around and grab the back surface so that it would just touch and brush against it, which is what I wanted to do. That looks like it worked there. I'm going to go ahead and do this side as well. Grab that flat surface and then grab the flat surface here. And we want to be able to create this next constraint. Now it may take a little bit of movement to get the correct surface. Here we are. And even though it bounces over here, I want to go ahead and click the green check and that will snap it in the correct place, but it gave me an error. Oh, no, it's just moving on to another one. Let's move ourselves to our home position and observe what we have. So what I should see now is when I spin this, it does freely rotate, but my axle doesn't. So they both rotate together or rotate independently. What I want to make them do is rotate together. In order to do that, I have to create a relationship. I want to come up here to gear relation because this is vaguely what I want them to do is to rotate at the same time. Now, instead of selecting the parts, now I'm going to select the mates and I'm going to select my revolute mate. So I'll choose revolute 1 and revolute 2. And I'll go ahead and hit the green check mark. So I should see them revolving together at the same time. Now, sometimes we will get some odd revolutions here where we may see it rotate the axle, but for the most part, we have the correct animation for the moment.